You're at the lights on a Tuesday arvo in your old Camry. Paid off. Bit of a dent in the bumper you keep forgetting to fix. Nothing to see here. Then a blacked out Ford Ranger rolls up on your left. Full light bar, snorkel, tinted to the max. The kind of rig that's rolled off the yard at close to 95 grand drive away. You glance right. A Hilux just as decked out. Same story. You look down at your dash, then back up, and that little thought creeps in. You know roughly what people around here actually earn. The average full-time Aussie's on somewhere around 80 grand a year before tax. So how are the two blokes boxing you in each sitting in something worth more than a year of their take-home pay? Here's the bit nobody tells you. It's not that they're loaded, it's that the maths has been quietly rearranged so it feels like they can afford it. Let me show you exactly how. This isn't a story about Utes. It's a story about how easy it's become in this country to look wealthy while going backwards. And by the end of this, you're going to look at that intersection completely differently. Stick around. I'll get to the part about your own house in a sec, because it's probably more involved in this than you'd like. 10 years back, a car loan in Australia was pretty standard. 5 years, 60 months, done. You paid it off, you drove it free, and clear for years after. Simple as that. Somewhere along the way, dealerships stopped selling you the Ute. They started selling you the monthly figure. Here's how it plays out. Say you're after a fully loaded Ranger, 90 grand, drive away. On a 5-year loan at a fairly typical rate right now, you're looking at somewhere north of $1,750 a month. That number makes people flinch. So the finance bloke leans back and goes, what if we stretched it out to 7 years instead? Suddenly that same truck is closer to $1,300 a month. Your shoulders drop. $1,300 feels doable. You sign. But have a squiz at what actually happened underneath. On the 5-year loan, you'd have paid somewhere around $15,000 in interest. Stretch it to 7, and because longer loans carry higher rates too, you're often paying well over $25,000 in interest alone. That's basically a second, invisible Ute handed straight to the lender, in exchange for a number that felt $400 lighter. And this isn't a fringe move anymore. 7-year car loans have gone from a rare, slightly dodgy option to genuinely common across Australian dealer finance. The payment gets smaller, the trap gets longer. Quick one, drop a comment and tell me, 5-year loan or 7? I want to see how split this room actually is, because I reckon it's closer than people think. But the payment trick is only half the story, because plenty of the blokes in those trucks aren't stretching their salary to cover $1,300 a month at all. This is the part nobody brings up at a barbie. For years now, property in Sydney and Melbourne has done something strange to completely ordinary people. Someone who bought a modest place in the western suburbs for $500,000 has watched it climb past $1.3 million. On paper, they're suddenly sitting on serious money. Not because they earned it, because the suburb inflated around them while they were asleep. I call these people paper millionaires. Rich in a number they can't spend, can't eat, and didn't actually work for. And here's what a lot of them are told to do with it. Go to the bank, set up a line of credit or a redraw against the equity in the house, often at a rate cheaper than any car loan going. So they don't finance the Ute through the dealer at all. They pull 30 or 40 grand straight out of the house and pay for the truck with their kitchen, their spare room, their garage. That's not a figure of speech. That's literally what's sitting behind the loan. Home equity debt in this country has been climbing to record levels for years, and a meaningful slice of it isn't going toward renovations. It's going toward utes, boats, and holidays. The truck in the next lane might not be sitting on a wage at all. It might be sitting on a mortgage. Now here's where it turns into a trap that shuts behind you. Say you bought a truck 3 years ago, been paying it faithfully, but on a long loan, the Ute loses value faster than you're paying it down. Today it's worth $50,000. You still owe $70,000. In the industry, you're underwater. You owe 20 grand more than the thing's actually worth. Most people don't clock this until they walk in wanting the new model, and that's when the salesperson says the magic words, "Don't worry, we'll roll that in for you." What that actually means is your leftover $20,000 gets quietly bolted onto the next loan. You drive off in a fresh $95,000 Ute and you owe $115,000 on it. 6 figures of debt, day one, on something that started losing value the second it left the yard. A genuinely significant share of Australians trading in a vehicle are already underwater when they walk through the door. The rollover doesn't fix that hole, it just drags it into a bigger truck. Picture a jetty stretching out over the water. Clean timber, solid rails, a couple of chairs at the end. That jetty is the lifestyle, the ute, the house, the whole picture of having made it. It looks solid, right up until you look under the waterline where nobody's checking. The posts are sitting in saltwater, and that saltwater is debt at today's interest rates, quietly rotting them from the inside. The jetty still holds. You can still walk out, sit at the end, feel like you've made it. Right up until the first storm, a job loss, a rate hike, a blown gearbox, and the whole thing drops into the water at once. It didn't fail suddenly. It had been failing the entire time. You just couldn't see the posts. Even without a storm, there's a quieter problem. Think of your salary as a solid little tinny with a reliable outboard. Does the job, gets you there. Now chain a 2-tonne anchor to the back of it. That's the truck repayment. Here's the cruel part. You can still move. You'll still make progress month to month for a while. But that little engine is burning through everything it's got just to drag the weight forward. All that effort, and you look up a year later and you're almost exactly where you started. You didn't get ahead. You just got tired. Quick word on actually running the thing, because this bit's changed too. For years, everyone blamed fuel excise for the pain at the pump. That index tax the government tops up twice a year. Fair enough, it's real, but it's not what's quietly draining ute owners. The real costs are quieter, and they never left. A heavy dual cab still drinks fuel by the tank, and global oil prices couldn't care less about your monthly repayment. Insurance on a $90,000 plus vehicle runs dramatically higher than on that paid-off Camry. A full set of tyres for one of these things can run past $1,500, and you'll be replacing them sooner because of the weight it's hauling. Add servicing, brakes, and the first out-of-warranty repair, and you're often looking at several $100 a month in running costs before the mortgage, before woolies, before anything that actually feeds your family. So let's go back to that red light. 2 blacked-out trucks boxing in your quiet little Camry. I want to change what you see when you look at them, because the wealthiest person at that intersection is almost never the one in the $95,000 ute. That person might be one bad month away from the whole jetty going under. The wealthiest person is far more likely to be the one you didn't even clock, the one in the 10-year-old paid-off Corolla, a bit dusty, no light bar, no chrome, because they've understood the one thing this entire game is designed to make you forget. Appearance is what you show people. Equity is what you actually own. A financed ute is a monthly bill wearing a costume. A paid-off car, however unglamorous, is freedom parked in your driveway. So next time one of those trucks pulls up beside you and that little flicker of "how are they affording that" creeps in, remember the honest answer. Most of them aren't. And you, in your quiet, boring, fully paid-for car, might already be winning the only race that actually counts. If this hit home, do me a favour and smash that like button. And if you're not already subscribed, get amongst it. I've got more of these breakdowns coming. Thanks for watching, legends. Catch you in the next one.